Yes. Yes. You are wondering how I created this game in my Shopify store? Shopify actually released some new stuff, so let's go check that out. What's up my nerds, it's Bozy, your Shopify developer freelancer from Germany, and last week Shopify dropped their Summer Editions 2025. There were over 150 updates with heavy focus on merchant and app developer updates. But in this video I want to show you the spotlight feature of this editions. The new Horizon theme in addition with the new generative AI features. So if you are curious about all the new theme changes and how you can use them to power your knowledge even further, you should definitely stick around. First, I'm going to show you what the new Horizon theme actually can do and all of its capabilities. Specifically, we are going to check out the new AI theme blocks you can use to build your dream theme without writing any code at all. And of course, since this is a channel for Shopify developers, I will take a deep dive into Horizon's code base and analyze what's new so you can use it on your own. As always, stay till the end because I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how you can use the new features to help your clients and maybe make an extra buck. Let's jump right in. The new Horizon theme will actually replace the old foundation theme Dawn. We will compare these two a lot in this video. First of all, there's to say, of course, the Horizon theme is completely free. And the editions state that there are actually 10 new themes, but the other 9 themes are actually just variants of the Horizon theme and therefore are just different in layout and design. This already shows what the actual main feature of the new Horizon theme is, using the full potential of theme blocks for ultimate flexibility when it comes to design and layout. What does that actually mean? To show you what you can do with the new Horizon theme, I just went ahead into my online store and just downloaded the Horizon theme from this section here. And when we click on customize, there's actually nothing crazy new. We have all the templates, we have the sections, we have the editor settings, but the real magic is behind the theme blocks. When we click add section, we actually have a lot of sections. And when we now add something, we can see that the section is not a standalone section anymore, but it consists of multiple blocks. These sections are all one section with different presets. So for example, here we have the collection list, but in 4 different variations, which you can see here also in the preview. So when I add the collection list bento and the collection list editorial, when we click on the actual section, we can see that it's basically the same settings, but then we have different section setting values, all preset already. You can just go ahead and add your own blocks wherever you want. For example, here on the text, I can add a button and this button of course appears then. And by going into the parent block and just change the alignment to center and direction horizontal to change the layout and the design. And if you want to add a block in general, we can see that we have a lot of theme blocks to use. And the cool thing is that we have a custom section that we can fully customize ourselves. We could try to create a multi-column section. So let's do that. And here we can just create a new group that contains an image, a heading, and a text. Then I can go to the group and say alignment is center. And instead of repeating the steps now with the group, adding an image and adding these headings and texts, we can simply go to the group, right click and say copy. Then we can paste after, again paste after. We have 3 images with text. And if we go to the parent section now, we can say align this horizontal. In like 20 seconds, we created this multi-column group by just adding the theme blocks, the groups, and copy paste them again. You can also go ahead and now rename this section to multi-column. So it's super flexible. Then of course we have the new star of the Shopify editions. We can go ahead into custom section, and of course when we add block, we can now generate a block. So we can create a unique block just for your store with AI. If we click generate now, we come to this setting here, and here it says describe the block you want. So let's say create a hero banner section. When we click enter, it is now generating the code and has this placeholder here. And when it's done, it actually just created everything itself with AI. So you have an element and also you have settings with it. You can even create follow-up instructions if you're not satisfied yet, but in this case I can save. And the cool thing is, if you want to add a block now, all your AI generated blocks are saved in this column here, so you can reuse them. If you want to remove the blocks from your theme code again, you can simply go ahead, right click and say edit code. Then you have to go into blocks and just click the trash bin and remove it. With all of these features, you basically have a whole page builder inside your theme now. But I have to say that you also have to be careful with the AI generated blocks, because this is just a simple example. But when it gets complicated, for example, create an upsell in the cart, then the AI sometimes is not the best. It either doesn't know what you want exactly or does wrong things. You always have to check if everything is correct. Then of course we have the normal settings, and we can also see that it improves drastically compared to the Dawn theme. We have more settings we can choose from. For example, the colors is a lot more than in the Dawn theme, which is super cool. And we have in general just a lot more to customize. The only thing that is also interesting is that we have a allow discounts in cart section. When we go ahead into the theme and add something to the cart, we can now see that there's a discount input where we can apply a discount code from the cart. Before, that was only possible in the checkout with apps or by creating it yourself with workarounds, but now this is available natively. As you can see, the new Horizon theme is a flexibility beast, and in my opinion will be the new meta for everything regarding theme building. This does not only reflect in the storefront and editor, but also in its code base. So let's check that out next. To give you an in-depth view of the codebase of the Horizon theme, I just opened up my code editor. If you don't know how to use the code editor in your Shopify dev flow, just check out my video on the Shopify CLI. Before we start analyzing, let's just be clear that we don't look at the config, locales, and template files, because they basically just stay the same for every theme there is. Let's start hierarchy-wise. Therefore, let's first jump into the theme liquid. First thing when I scrolled down here was that it was really slimmed down. The Dawn theme was actually full of stuff, and the Horizon theme now makes use of snippets to just put all the chaos inside of these snippets so we don't clutter the actual theme liquid. Other than that, it's just pretty basic, so I really like the cleanliness here. We can then go to the sections. As I mentioned before, the sections in the Horizon theme are basically acting as wrappers. So there are not a lot of sections. If we jump in the sections, we basically see that these are just wrappers for the blocks that get rendered inside of them. We don't have this big section clutter. We only have a couple of main sections, and then they make use of the theme blocks. Then I also saw that we have an underscore blocks.liquid section. This is weird for me because I never saw an underscore before it. When we go to the documentation for the AI generated theme blocks, we can see that there is a wrapper section. And the wrapper section is basically just for AI generated theme blocks, not with the theme blocks generator, but rather when you use Sidekick. When we go back to the Horizon theme, we on the one hand can create AI blocks in here with adding a block, or we can open Sidekick, which is basically the AI chat that Shopify has. And here we can also ask Sidekick to create something for us. For example, I can say create an image with text block I can use in my theme editor, and then it gives me a link. When I click this link, it redirects me to a generate block dialog, and then I can just click this, and now it basically does the same thing with generating an AI block yourself. And when he's done, we can click save, and this block is now wrapped by a section. So it's not the custom section, but rather the section. One is used to just create your own custom section. The other one is used for Sidekick. To show you the differences, I will just start my theme server, and on the underscore block section, I will write this is for Sidekick, and the normal custom section is this section file. Here we can say this is the normal block section. And when we preview this now, we can see that this is the normal AI block section, also this, but the Sidekick one is this one. This is super important to know because then you are more flexible in your layout decisions when using theme blocks or Sidekick. What I also saw in the section settings and the block settings, of course, that they make a use of the new visible if setting. So you can show settings depending on conditions, and this cleans up a lot of clutter. So when we click on the custom section, and for example here on the background media we click image, then there are more settings suddenly, and on video there are different settings. And the last thing I recognized is that all the CSS gets now wrapped in style sheets on the section itself, which is super smart because we come to this later, but we can see that we nearly have no CSS files and everything is saved in the sections themselves. And by using the style sheet tag, you even get rid of duplicates in the styles, because when we go to the documentation for the style sheet tag, it states bundled assets are only injected once for each section, block or snippet file, not for each instance of that file. Just be aware that liquid isn't rendered inside of style sheets, so you can, for example, not use conditionals inside of the style sheet tag. For this case, you would need to use a normal style tag. Okay, this is all for the sections. We can now go to snippets. And here, the first thing I saw, it is super modular with the snippets. We have a lot of snippets. There's less standalone code. And it's not only elements that get wrapped in snippets. We also have utilities and functionality in snippets. For example, we can just create a bento grid by using a snippet. We just have size style settings inside of a snippet that we can render on an element. Then of course we have simple components, for example just a button or a background image. So it's really modular and component based what they are doing here, and I really like it. But for developers it's also kind of complex and intriguing because there's a lot of nesting going on. You definitely have to work into this. What they're also doing is they're using the new doc tag to describe the functionality of the snippets, which really helps with using and understanding them. Then what we saw in the theme liquid, that we have these snippets. We basically removed all the clutter from the head tag, which is super awesome. You can see all the styles, all the font thingies are inside here. And there's specifically one snippet that grabbed my attention. This is the scripts liquid. And here we have some kind of import map and all the JS rendered in here. We will see what this does later. Let's first go over the CSS again. I mean, I said it before, but we have only 3 CSS files in the assets folder. Any other CSS is either in the sections or the snippets itself. And as I mentioned before, wrapped in a style sheet tag, this makes a lot of sense. When I look at the CSS itself, it is really modern and uses a lot of new stuff that CSS can do now. This nesting, for example, was only possible with SCSS before, but now it's possible with native CSS. It's really modern, and I can even learn myself, and you should too. So look at the CSS files in this theme, take the learnings and use them yourself. Now let's go over the JavaScript files. When we go into the files, we can see that they still have the custom HTML element approach, which I really like. If you don't know what custom HTML elements are, check out my video on them. Super important. The JavaScript is just really modern, and we also have a lot of comments and documentations for all the stuff. And of course we can see the vast majority of JS files. It is really modular, like everything else in the Horizon theme, and therefore you get a better overview of the stuff. What instantly grabbed my attention was import statements in the JS files. With imports, you basically don't have to put everything in one file, but you can rather take JS from other files and reuse them. And I showed you the scripts liquid, the section that gets rendered in the head, and here we can see that the Horizon theme creates an import map with all the different JS files that they need. We can use them in the JS files themselves. For me, this is a really big thing because this opens up so much new possibilities. For the imported files, I just mainly found 4 JS files that are important in this case. First, it's the component.js, where we are creating a component we are reusing throughout the theme. But in most cases, we are not extending classes with HTML elements, but rather with a component. In here, we also have the utilities.js, where we have a lot of utility, for example, formatting money or different functions we can use to make our JavaScript in other files more performant, which is really cool. Then of course we have a events.js where all the events are, and this is a real game changer. I saw this in other paid themes that we have now a lot of events we can listen for. For example, there's an event variant update where we can listen for throughout the theme, or a cart update. When we add or remove items from the cart, we can listen for this and take more actions on that. This is high peak, developer friendly, and I love seeing that. And of course we have a section renderer.js. We can use this to render sections, and I would definitely use this when you are developing the Horizon theme. The last file that catched my eye is the performance.js. So apparently they implemented some performance analysis tool in here, especially for cart performance. So when I look for this now, we can see in all the cart functionality, we have this cart performance, which measures from events, and these events you can read out actually in the console. When we go ahead and open the console, we can go to performance, and when we click stuff here, we can see that we have events that we can check, but I'm not quite sure why they did that. I cannot tell you more about this. I just saw that it was there. Overall, JavaScript, high-end, super modular, super modern. Dig into this for sure. And now, of course, for the main feature again, we go into the blocks folder. Basically, I don't have to explain how this works because I already did a video on this. Check out my video on theme blocks to understand what is going on here. The interesting thing for me is the AI generated blocks, because these are also getting saved inside the block folder. And as you can see, they are named with AI gen block block and then a unique number. So it's a little bit hard to see what they're actually for, but when we click on it, we can always see the same structure. First, we have a doc tag, which describes the block itself. First, it creates a specific AI gen ID based on the block ID, and then this is used throughout the block. Then we have a style tag with all the style for the block. I just quickly remove the doc so we can see it better. Then here we have the element which the AI wrote, and if there's functionality or JavaScript, and it takes a script tag with a function that instantly runs, and here it also works with custom HTML elements. Then the element gets wrapped in this custom HTML element to give it its functionality. And then of course we have the schema of the block. If you want, you can go ahead and edit the code yourself. And that is basically it for the code base of the Horizon theme. Now I give you 3 tips on how you can use all of these features to give your clients a good time and maybe make some extra cash. Let's go. First tip, upgrade old themes to using AI theme blocks. A lot of your clients will be using old themes that don't use AI theme blocks now. Just propose to upgrade them and give them the flexibility they want. And don't be scared that they won't contact you for new sections or blocks again. AI will come anyway if you want or not, so make the best out of it. Second tip, build a custom page builder for your clients. You saw what you can do with the Horizon's theme blocks. Go ahead, study them, create your own, and implement these into your clients' themes. Because like I said before, a lot of old themes won't have this feature now. Third tip, create a discount input in the cart for your clients. As you saw before, the Horizon now offers a discount input in the cart. With this, you can add a discount from the cart and not just the checkout. Just study the functionality in the Horizon theme, take it and put it in the theme of your client. This is a huge conversion optimization and your client will be really happy about this. And if you're more curious about this feature, just go ahead and visit the Shopify documentation about the cart API. There you can see that they added an update discounts for the update.js endpoint. And watch out of course, because I will release a whole video guide on the cart API soon. Subscribe if you don't want to miss this. That was it for the video. I hope I could teach you something about the Horizon theme, how to use it, what it's capable of, and what it teaches us. So now go and learn for yourself and use the concepts for your own. As always, I would be really happy if you would subscribe to my channel because I take a lot of time creating these videos to teach you something. Also check out my Discord community where I try to build a community solely for Shopify developer. We talk a lot about Shopify development, help each other solve our problems, and I even post freebies and tips and tricks from time to time. Lastly, I want to tell you that I work on a Shopify Academy where I want to teach you how to become a Shopify developer, or at least better at it. If you want to learn more in depth about Shopify development, go check out the link in the description and I will let you know when I launch the Academy. See you next time. Bye bye.